Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome back to the stream. It's me, DIGI. We are back in Microsoft Flight Simulator, what I call FS 2020, not 2024, because I want to fly the 787 and I have the Premium Deluxe Edition of FS 2020 for that. We are at Wilmington and I'm going to do a quick op into Orlando this evening. We're real time. Some rain just moved through here, and looks like we're going to be taking off. Where are we going to be taking off exactly? We're going to be taking off on runway 24 today, or at least that's the active. We are at the main terminal, and we're flying a decidedly unorthodox livery for this part of the country, Alaska, but I like the way the livery looks, and I'm flying the Kuromod 787-800, which is basically a very overweight wide-body 737, as I like to think of it. And honestly, the livery looks really nice for this aircraft, so why not? Like I said, we're on the ground at Wilmington, and I've got a little bit of time before I need to depart. I think I set my off-block time at 7:15, and it is approximately quarter of. So I have a little bit of time to get prepped, not too much. So while I'm boarding and getting ready, I'm going to go ahead and start the usual warm-up process. Boarding doesn't take that long on this plane. I'm going to probably not going to worry about things like catering service. I'm not going for immersion that much. There probably will come a day when I start doing catering service again, unless, of course, it takes a very short time and boarding is short. And since I'm pretty sure boarding is going to take longer because of the cargo pods that they put in, I'm probably going to go ahead and pick boarding now and start getting everything ready. So let's request boarding. And if anybody wants to join, I believe I am on East USA. Let me double check. Yeah, East USA. I'm on multiplayer right now and I've got real-time traffic. But again, I don't think I'm going to have an issue. I'm going to just enjoy myself this evening. I'm not on VATSIM, and I think DC and Jacksonville Center were offline anyway. Yeah, so even if I was on VATSIM, I wouldn't be getting any coverage. So not going to worry about it unless someone jumps in and says, "Hey, I felt like flying with you, but I'm only on VATSIM." Right now, I'm just going to do MSFS multiplayer, and it's MSFS multiplayer for FS 2020, which may be an endangered species at this point since FS 2024 has been out since this November is going to be 2 years. But I'm having fun with it. So, we're on the ground. I think we've got battery turned on. We do. We have external power on. Let's get the battery started and let's get going. So, before I start doing that, let's just begin boarding.
Boarding requested.
And let's get the IRSs to start aligning. Forward door power to on. Get window heats on. We already have external power on. And I'm going to set the electrics and hydraulics to auto and just forget about the rest of it. Don't attach the pushback
Do you want
yet.
to board crew? Crew boarding starting.
Do want to board the crew. Yeah, so yeah, not worried about that. Okay. Window heat's on, emergency lights are on. Excuse me, they're armed. And we'll get the flight deck temp chilled, and we will definitely get the cabin temp nice and cold. I always like to say a cold passenger is a compliant passenger, so there should be no problem there. We'll get the packs turned on, and I'm pretty sure we do not have to turn them off with this aircraft because it's a 787. It can start with the packs on, which is neat. And I believe the 777 can also do that as well. At one point I thought it didn't, but I could be wrong. Okay. I don't know if...
Your crew has boarded. Passengers boarding starting.
was just talking to myself earlier, but welcome aboard, everybody. We're going to be doing a flight from Wilmington to Orlando today in FS 2020. We'll get the nav and logo lights on. No beacon light yet. And is there anything else I'm missing before I go back to the MCP or downstairs? I don't think so. I'm just going to turn my panel lighting up and we're going to get going. And panel lighting's down here. Got it. Okay. Now, performance, I can probably do some performance stuff here. Conditions are wet. Winds out of Wilmington are winds 210 at 4. Outside air temperature is 28. Dew point is 26. And the QNH right now is 29 or 902, which is interesting. Gonna go for optimum thrust rating, and we're gonna do flaps as per the briefing. I filed through SimBrief. The numbers are flaps 5. Excuse me. Flaps 5. There we go. Anti-ice config. I'm going to do engine auto, and I don't know what that means. Takeoff weight, we're going to try to configure as close to the briefing plan as possible, which shouldn't be a problem because, again, I should be able to manipulate the weights through the built-in UI. Although, I don't know. I think you can actually import it. But we'll just do what we have to do. Zero fuel weight is going to be... Oh, I'm sorry, not zero fuel. Takeoff weight. 343,100. And zero fuel weight right here, 317.9. Okay, so CG, I don't know where to find it on the briefing, and I think that's done automatically for us. I don't think I need to do that. I think I can just run a calculation. Just what I required, Grafton. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome aboard. I am getting set for a quick flight over to Orlando, one of my favorite places to visit for obvious reasons. And I'm using the Kuromod 787-800 in FS 2020 for funsies. I've got some Air Asia liveries in Wilmington in the US of A because old model matching, don't care, actually kind of find it funny. So I'm just having some fun. I'm getting set up for the flight right now. Good to see you, buddy. Welcome aboard. Now, hit the B button because I'm super lazy and we're already 29902, which is fine. Let's go grab some info down here. Pausing it, we're going to be Kilo India Lima Mike. And I'm going to use the... Actually, I don't need that right now because I think my IRS is finished aligning. We are boarding even as we speak, so I'm not wasting too much time. Request descent, so I do believe it's going to tap into my SimBrief. Oh, that's fantastic. Load, please. Sweet. And what runway did I say I was going to use? Probably 24? 24. 24. Okay, 24, Alaska 107 Heavy. And now we're going to go to Perfinet, and we're going to set the zero fuel weight to what it should be. I don't believe this aircraft has... No, it doesn't. Wow, we're already boarded. Crafton, I'm taking it easy. I woke up this morning super groggy because my one cat was afraid because of some weather. Nothing nasty, just some thunderstorms that came in late at night. So I was up with the poor thing till like 4 in the morning. Hit the pillow, woke up around 9:20, groggy as all get out. But did the thing, watched church online, and got to work. Did my usual Sunday cleanup work, and then sat down eventually around, I want to say 5 o'clock, and ate some food. Actually had some nice fried chicken, just a couple pieces, and Mrs. DIGI surprised me with a quick I guess, online order from somewhere. I still don't know from where, so I'm going to be surprised. But I am enjoying a quick flight, and your company as ever is sincerely appreciated. Cost index for today's flight is going to be 28. Cost index. What is my cell temp? Cell temp is going to be 54. 54. 54, and I think we're going to do a 10% takeoff D rate and climb 2. That seems a bit. Yeah, just let's do takeoff, normal takeoff, and climb 1. That's better. And it looks like we got a lot of noise. Let me lower the volume a teensy bit. All right, flaps are going to do 5. And CG is going to be a trim of 6. There we go. Trim is now set. The 787 is an Airbus raised by Boeing. That is the quote of the day. You're an absolute genius, Crafton. Seriously. Oh, man. You have no idea how much that made me like perk up. At least it's like that made me feel so good. Thank you. It's just too, simple. That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we got the route punched in. We are going to be departing Wilmington, direct CAT. There are no standard instrument departures out of Wilmington, so we're going to be going direct CAT, and we've got the numbers punched in. Not that many waypoints before we get to Gary, Royco, and Leopard, and we're going to be taking the Get Out 1 arrival. So let me go ahead and pick arrivals for MCO, Get Out 1, Leopard, and then we're going to pick runway 18 right because that's just how I roll. I don't make any apologies for it. 18 right forever, unless I can't use it, in which case, Sag. But I now have my arrival and my transition to ILS chosen. Vectors to naval, I'll probably keep a close eye on altitude, but honestly, I can just skip that since I'm not in VATSIM tonight. And I think everything's connected. Yeah, there aren't that many waypoints on this because it's a quick flight, but that should be fine. We've got performance set, pre-flight's complete, and now I think I can go ahead and activate the APU, which I'm sure the flight attendants are waiting for. Okay, so give me beacon, crispy beacon light, and APU starting up, or should be starting up shortly. And let's get the fuel resolved really fast. Today I'm going to be taking 26,300 pounds of fuel, not 51,000. Certainly not way more than that. 26,841 pounds gives me even a little bit extra just in case of contingency. And payload, I believe, is set. Payload was... Actually, it's not set. No. That's about right. 50.6. So just a little bit heavier than expected, but it always takes me a little bit extra to begin a takeoff roll anyway. So I think we're going to be fine. I don't think we're going to run into an issue with overweight, especially with as little fuel and payload as we're taking anyway. Now, the whine in the APU suggests we have already gotten ourselves set up. So give me a moment to double check. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to set the number on the MCP. 158 is going to be V2. Really? I mean, I do like me a good A350. It's kind of surprising that I never actually bought one in the sim. But, I mean, the interior of the 787 is so familiar to me because I've liked it for so long and I've enjoyed it for so long. But I mean, I can see your point, how it just seems a bit different than what it should be, but it is what it is. My apologies for the lack of kilogram measure. Maybe I shall try to educate myself more for your benefit. And me actually activating the autopilot right now is not a smart move, so let me clear that. Let's see. That's fine. And let me actually set the LNAV and VNAV. LNAV isn't set yet because I didn't have reflect directors on. Okay, departure heading out of here is going to be magnetic deviation 238. New Airbus narrowbody? You're not talking about the A220, I presume. Which aircraft? I'm kind of curious. Okay, 238 for the heading. Final climb is flight level 320. We have LNAV and VNAV. We have the APU running, which means I would have disconnected the external power, but it's already disconnected, so we're fine. We're already boarded. Let's go ahead and begin pushback procedure. Okay. So departure clearance requested. There's our buddy down there.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Yes, you are. All right. Give me traffic and weather, and let's go ahead and set our things. 2257 for my squawk, and let's get nav and get the ILS for the approach.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
111.9er. And of course setting is going to be 185. Okay, that is set. And
Locking gear.
okay, downstairs should be set. Yeah, I think we're ready to push back. Unless I missed something. I mean, I can usually speed run this aircraft. They've hinted at it. Okay, gotcha. Just a quick external check. Actually, no, hold on. Tail left.
Release parking brakes, please.
Okay, let's go ahead and reach for the controls.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Okay, turn the clock on and begin the engine start. We're going to start engine 2, then 1 really fast. You can start both of them at the same time. Give me about 15% N2. Okay, engine number 2 is starting. And 2, engine number 1 starting. And let's take a look. Now I have TARA for my squawk. An A330
Please
Neo.
set parking brakes.
Interesting.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Yeah, it looks like both engines are good.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Okay, let's do flight controls check. If you wish, my friend, it's certainly not required, but always appreciated. And the link should be direct. Okay, full left, full right, full forward and back. And we have left and right rudder operation successful. Oh, one more thing, let's check
Tow
the
truck
spoilers.
disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Spoilers engaged, disengaged.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Wonderful. Let's get the taxi light on, and where is Mr. Man? Hang on. All right, see ya. Oh, this looks good. I like it. Okay. Snapped a quick picture of the thing. Keep TCAS on but set to standby until either crossing or entering a runway. Otherwise, aircraft on approach may get TCAS RA orders. Interesting. Now, I'm probably going to keep it on transponder because it's a force of habit for me to at least have it for mode Charlie. But since I'm not in VATSIM, I'll keep it on standby. I will activate it before I enter the active runway. And speaking of which, the map for Wilmington. Okay, we are going to be crossing an active, so it is runway 35. I'll turn my strobes on. I won't turn the TCAS on there. So, am I missing anything? I don't think so. I'm also going to set this to fuel and then dismiss it. And then I'm going to go here, run my checklist real fast, and make sure we're good to go. Let's make sure passenger signs are on. Go. Passenger signs are on. MCP is set. Takeoff speeds 158 is my V2. CDU pre-flight complete. Trim is 6 units. Let me do it and double check. There we go. 6. Taxi and takeoff briefing. We're going to be taxiing runway 24 via Bravo, crossing 35 at Bravo. Okay. Anti-ice should be auto. It is auto. And recall. Checked autopilot disconnect because I was a knucklehead and pressed autopilot before I even started the engines. Recall check, but I'll check it again. And auto brake is RTO. Auto brake is now RTO. Flight controls have been checked. Ground equipment is most definitely clear, and the APU should be off at this point. It is on. Let's turn it off. Okay. Before taxi checklist is complete, and before takeoff checklist will come in, I think automatically, so I'm not going to worry about it. All right. Now, I believe we can begin our rollout. So, let's disengage the parking brake and begin taxi. Give me my wing view. Okay, I'll take that. Before this flight began, I was slightly tempted to fly the Salty Mod 747. I think I'm actually going to get back into flying the 747 a little bit more because I like that plane, and the Salty Mod adds some of the necessities for things like GSX integration, and I think SimBrief integration as well. I'm talking about FS 2020. FS 2024 might have a competent 747. I don't think so though. So, oh no, wait, they've got like what, 2 of them? 2024 should have at least one of them for cargo and for firefighting, but the the what am I trying to say? In FS 2020, the default one I think was missing the ability to open certain doors. Okay. Alright, about to cross inactive, or at least what could be inactive, so we'll turn the strobe lights on and just leave them on for the duration of the taxi. Since again, there's nothing else that I'm going to be taxiing to other than runway 24 for departure. There was some AI traffic here, but I guess they have already left, leaving us to our lonesome. And let's go ahead and set my TCAS, especially now that I've finished crossing a runway. DIGI, you knucklehead. Hopefully the audio is okay for you guys. Let me know if it's not. I'm usually, fighting the urge to raise the audio volume, you know, unless it's clear that it's good levels, but I think it's good levels right now. You've got an interview. For what, my friend? Nice. I'm trying to get into a different position myself, but right now I'm just grateful that I have a job, to be honest. And I just want to make sure that I do what's necessary. I would like to get to a better place. Hang on. Almost. What you need? Okay. Okay, well hang on. I should be able to get it for you. That's alright, I get it. I'm gonna do I wouldn't call it a run up, but I'm gonna hold short at the runway just to make sure Mrs. DG's taken care of. It's okay. We'll call it a final cabin check. Character review to get into your flight training degree. Heavenly Father, please bless Craft and Fur with the ability to begin or continue or press further into flight training in Jesus' name. Wishing you a smooth process, or a process that educates you on precisely what you need, my friend. All right, we're going to hold short 2-4, coming up on the turn right now, and I believe we should be fine. But again, we'll double check controls, and not double check controls, double check the setup to make sure we're good. Appreciate it, Crafton. Thanks again for being here. Mrs. Digi says, thank you, Digi family. Okay, so a nice sunset flight into Orlando, holding short 2-4, just to make sure we get Mrs. Digi taken care of. Stand by. Okay, parking brake should be engaged. Sit tight, and I will go ahead and take care of the cabin. BRB. All right, thanks for holding on for me, friends. I am back. We are going to do the takeoff roll as soon as I get myself just double checked on everything in the cabin. Stand by for a bit. Okay, we're holding short 2-4. Minimum takeoff fuel for today's flight is supposed to be 25,179 pounds. We are at 26,300 pounds, so we're definitely fine. RTO is set. Let's see, auto throttle is armed, flight directors are on. We've got initial climb, departure heading. The Barrow mins for arrival at Orlando. I should probably set those up real fast because they're not that big. The decision height, the MDA, excuse me, is 294 feet. So, just tweak that. There we go. Barrow set. We've got TCAS. We've got weather and traffic. ND is set. I can probably tweak the range to 20, and this range a bit higher. 80 nautical miles should be fine. We are TARA, or should be. And yeah, that's about it. I don't think we need to do anything else. And it looks like we do have some traffic coming out of here. JetBlue. Nice. So, real quick check, holding short, no traffic inbound, no traffic outbound. Let's release the parking brake. Or before I double check that, let me just make sure I can try to engage thrust reversers if at all possible. I usually run into problems with 787 mapping in 2020. Ooh, look at that. I can actually engage the reversers. So, methodical and, all the things. But let me try it one more time. Push the button. Yeah, reversers work. This is a very good thing. Reversers are good to have. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Yep. Departing 2-4. Flight attendants, please take your seats. Thank you. One of the reasons I like FS 2020 so much is because DirectX 11 on my hardware is so smooth. I mean, DX 12 on 2024 is getting better, but there's also stuff bundled with my Premium Deluxe Edition that I like. But here we go. Holding at about 40.1% N1 stable. Here we go. Power set. Disregard. 80 knots seat. V1 and I think rotate. Yep. Pay for the whole runway, use the whole runway. Positive rate. Gear up. Keep me flaps. Yeah, whoops. That was actually a clean flaps takeoff, which would explain why I used the whole runway up. Got him. Fortunately, this bird is quite capable. Alright, give me autopilot, please. Remember the old days when you used to do simulated flights and always forget to turn on your chrono? I did that a lot. too shabby for a departure out of Wilmington with no flaps. What was that, like 170 some odd knots? I mean, let's let's not let's not mince intent. We were getting into trouble, but we did manage to do a rotation, so we're fine. Climbing at about 5,000 feet per minute. Oof. Nice grunt in the stomach. This bird can climb. Ain't she purty? Look at that. All right, coming up on 9,000. 10,000, not far behind at all. We are rocketing out of here. This is incredible. 10K, and we can get rid of the landing lights. Good things. Crossing 10K, I turn my wing lights off, because why? And let's see. 10K checklist, lights are off. Strobe lights on. Wing lights off. Seatbelt signs to auto. And that's just about all she wrote. 10K checklist. We're good. Flaps are 0 because I never set flaps for takeoff. But not doing a bad job. And there's not going to be any kind of shift when we transition at 18,000 because altimeter was standard on the ground. Man, this bird is just rocketing up. We're still 3,800 feet per minute, approaching 14,000. Yeah, this is a light flight. And I kind of like flying this aircraft for regional ops, especially if it's going to go like this. Yeah, I think my favorite, if I was going to pick a favorite Airbus aircraft that I actually fly, it would probably be the. Actually, it's a tie. The A319, the TOLUS A319 in X-Plane 12, and the A321 in FS 2024. The TOLUS A319 has gotten to be just a solid choice for me whenever I fly that sim, and the A321 in FS 2024 is just like such a combination of like hands-off enjoyment and just ease of use. I like that plane. Now, if we're talking about aircraft to actually have to manage, then the 737-600 that I have in FS 2020 is a great plane to hand fly. And the 737 MAX 8 in 2024 is also great because by extension it's a 737. Okay, standard, and we are well on our way to flight level 320. Now, what is the weather at Orlando? So I am briefed on the arrival. Currently, winds are 230 at 4, and clouds are few at 4,500 and 8,000, scattered at 10, broken at flight level 250. Temperatures 26. And the altimeter is 3000. So, simple enough. We are waving bye-bye to North Carolina. Man, I don't know if you got into FS 2020 back when it first came out, but I remember the old days of doing flights in the 787X and and going through clouds and icing up for like almost no reason. I mean, it wasn't actual icing. It was just that the clouds made the aircraft look like it iced up on departure. Which, in hindsight, is kind of like nostalgic because that was like back in 2020, literally. Haha. Yes, here, right now. The A330, I flew a lot when it was just the kind of like window dressing version of it with some slight modifications to the interior cockpit. That was the that was the headwinds A330. I liked flying that plane. That plane was super simple to figure out. By extension, the actual A330 in the sim is probably not going to be that hard for me to learn. It's just that I haven't bothered learning it because like I didn't care. But I flew the A330 quite a bit. I flew that in the Caribbean, I flew that in South America. It took me places. I liked that plane. It did. So, welcome in everybody, welcome aboard. We are on our way to Orlando. We departed Wilmington about 8 minutes ago. We're flying the 787 Air 800 Air 100 the 787 800, which is courtesy of the Kuro mod. In FS 2020, the only version of 787 you could fly at the beginning, if you bought the premium deluxe version, was the 787X, the 787-10. Then Horizon came around with the 787-900, and the Kuro mod came, which was the 787-800. Yeah, agreed. The 330 is a solid aircraft. At least I like it. And today I'm flying the 787-800 in the Alaska livery. Which, as you can probably imagine, is a bit on the odd side because, hey, Digi, we're nowhere close to the West Coast. Why are you flying Alaska? Because we can! Because it's fun that way. I like this livery, and it's just a nice way to spend the evening. The good Alaska livery. I like this. I do. Miss Digi's like, wait, is there such a thing as a backseat driver? Backseat. Mrs. Digi is offering backseat ad-libbed commentary. She was wondering about good Alaska versus bad Alaska. I guess bad Alaska would be spoiled salmon. I don't know. Okay, believe it or not, we're actually coming up on top of cruise. We've literally only been flying for 10 minutes and we're almost at cruise. This aircraft is an absolute rocket. Bad Alaska livery is the new abomination they're putting on their 787s. Okay, alright, I'm sorry, I have to check this out. Alaska 787 livery. Here we go. Not a fan. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not a fan. Mm-mm. Yeah. Word. Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm good. No, thank you. He said, Mom, I want WestJet. No, we have WestJet at home. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm okay. I'm okay. I like this more. I'm okay. We good, fam. We good. Okay, so we've hit cruise. When Mrs. DG tells me, I will dash out to pick up the delivery that we have for dinner, and then I will catch up with you guys between bites of whatever cuisine it was that we picked up. And I will double check and see what our arrival's going to be. Actually, before I do anything else, let me just make sure I'm squared away. 2,200 feet is what the final approach fix altitude is going to be. So I'll set that up right now. There we go. And I will set up the approach ref for Orlando. I think flaps 25 should suffice. So that's good. Now, when does top of drop actually happen? TOD. Um, excuse me, sir? Why in the world does the map not have my thing? That's weird. Okay. Okay, so we'll just check here then. Fine, whatever. Okay, top of drop is going to be like another 45 minutes easily, if not 50. But that's fine. That's fine. Unrecognizable livery? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. All right, I think we've just got our delivery. Let me go ahead and grab the food. BRB. Okay, I am back. Had to run up front to get the delivery and did a little bit of quick setup, but we are back in. And I thought I heard one of the cats. Okay, good. That might have been my throat for all I know. But we're good. Hopefully everybody's doing well. I am doing a very quick flight today from Wilmington to Orlando. Still enjoying Flight Sim 2020, MSFS 2020. And also seeing that there are still some people using multiplayer in FS 2020 here. I back 'em crafted. I walked into that one. But yeah, there are still people that use multiplayer in FS 2020, and I'm sure there's a lot more in FS 2024. But today, I just wanted to enjoy some time in this sim, and we are not doing bad. I don't think so. Let's see where we are right now. We are... Me? Oh, I know why. Yeah, I think you're fine. I think you're fine. It's WH something? Okay. Sorry, Mrs. Digi was just asking me something real quick. That's fine. What was I talking about? Oh, I was just trying to figure out where I was. I think I am either about to pass or just past Charleston already. I want to say I'm past Charleston, and we're going to be flying west, or excuse me, to the east of Savannah in about 15 minutes. So, good. And I have what looks like a very delicious breakfasty sandwich looking at me. Yes, I do like having breakfast for dinner. I'm not even gonna lie. It's superb. Good gravy, that's delicious. Wow. Everybody loves Charleston. Oh, my word. You just took me back like redacted number of years. Yeah, I heard that. I heard the old school Charleston music once upon a time. Yes, yes. I'm not always redacted, but when I am, I'm redacted. For sure. Okay, so how far are we? I don't think this thing will show me. That does kind of bother me now. I'm not sure if this is an actual failure because I do have, excuse me, I do have the magenta line on the main display. Yeah, it's a little weird. Hang on. Mm. Yeah, no, I don't actually see the magenta line here. I wonder if I flipped the switch somewhere when I was down here. Whatever. Am I that worried about it? No. Grafton, thank you so much for stopping by today. Really appreciate all your support. Thank you so much. Thanks for being a part of the chat tonight, and have a great rest of your day. Yeah, man. Thanks again for coming in. All right, folks. Thanks for waiting up for me. I am just chilling in the virtual flight deck here. Just polished off a little appetizer. Mrs. Digi picked up a little bit of dinner for us, and I'm going to have the rest of it after touching down at Orlando and setting up for the evening. Today went by really fast. Now, to those of you that are tuning in for the first time, welcome. My name is DIGI Driver. I am a content creator on Twitch. I'm also a digital content creator. I've created airports for Microsoft Flight Simulator, both 2020 as well as 2024. I am trying to figure out if I can get back into trying to make them for X-Plane as well, but it's something that I'll try to do in time. I also like to talk about things like, retro gaming, electronics, and even old flight sims. So, segueing into that, I used to fly a flight sim called Prepared by Lockheed Martin, what is commonly referred to as P3D. When I did that, it was one of 2 or 3 sims I had installed. I used to use X-Plane 11 predominantly. I also had FSX Steam Edition installed with a whole bunch of add-ons, but it didn't pan out for long because I think I overstressed that sim. Iowa Scotsman, my friend, welcome. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining in. We are on our way to Orlando, doing a quick flight in the 787-800. I'm enjoying the Alaskan Airlines livery and just enjoying some FS 2020 goodness. I was just talking about old times and using Prepared to enjoy flight simming. It was a different time because I think, even though the landscape was three-dimensional, all the airports were flat. And as I started flying X-Plane 11 more and getting used to airports that actually had runways that, had dips and, had rises and drop-offs, it was like a different thing. I still like flying P3D because of the airports I could fly to, or the scenery that I had, or the aircraft that I had. But I wouldn't say it lost its charm at that point. I still like flying it a lot. I think what happened was about a year ago. No, actually about a year and a half at this point. I I purchased FS 2024, and at first I installed it, and it took up like 50 gigs of space on my main drive, and I was content to stream the content that came in because the original premise was, hey, you're going to have a much smaller simulator footprint on your computer, which means you're not going to have to wait so long to get stuff loaded in. So I was happy with that for a bit, but I noticed really fast that FS 2024 took more to run on my computer, which meant frame rates were lower, the performance was a bit more stuttery, and eventually I figured out if I decide to install more things locally on my drive, I'll probably get some of the performance back because I won't be streaming so much stuff on top of streaming, the satellite imagery or the photogrammetry. So I said, okay, let's give it a shot. And then I when I found out that I installed the FS 2024 files locally, my performance in general improved. And this is FS 2020, by the way, because I'm flying a 787. I don't have the premium deluxe version in 2024. I like to fly FS 2020 where I'm going to fly the 787 because I think there's even some issues flying the 787 in 2024 unless I'm wrong. Yes, I would agree. A good high-speed internet connection is important. Now, I have that, but I think on top of streaming the scenery and streaming the other files and streaming to show, to actually have a flight sim stream and to showcase it, that's a lot of bandwidth. And I think there's just like a limit, a cap on just how much power you're going to be putting out in terms of internet bandwidth. So it's like, hey, you're going to run into an issue with that. So my problem was, okay, you have gig fiber, nice. I could in theory use my ISP right now. Actually, no, wait. I think I have gig right now. It's just that I'm lazy and I use the Wi-Fi mode on my system to stream to be connected. If I literally grabbed the cable that's in the router in my house and walked it to my computer and hooked up to the network port, then I'd basically have 1 gig right now, or not really 1 gig. I'm just below that for like my cable modem. I haven't upgraded it yet, but you know what I mean. Like I'd be very, 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 very fast. Lyles, welcome aboard, my friend. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate having you aboard. I'm flying to Orlando in FS 2020, enjoying some flight time in the 787 once again. But yeah, like when I got to the point where I realized I needed to improve my performance in 2024, I figured out a few things. One was if I install stuff locally, I don't have to stream it. The second thing was, unfortunately, because FS 2024 uses DX12 by default, and you have to really hack at the software to try to get it to run DX11, and that's not guaranteed, and that's not stable, or at least it might not be stable. I was like, okay, I guess I gotta get used to this. So I adjusted my terrain levels of detail, I adjusted the graphic settings, and I got better performance. And it didn't cost me that much, except photogrammetry is a bit more disappointing. But I mean, I had similar issues when I was using FS 2020 on my first sim rig. My first sim rig wasn't that powerful, so I had to make compromises there too. But I got to a point where I got 2024 looking good. Of course, the problem was at that point, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? Because I had X-Plane 12 installed. Microsoft Flight Simulator FS 2020, like FS 2020 installed. I had FS 2024 installed, and these are all on the same main drive. So P3D was getting crowded out, and I was like, okay, do I like P3D? Yes. Do I want to keep flying it? Yes. Do I like flying the other sims more? Yes. So, unfortunately, I removed it. Now, I tried about, like last weekend, I tried reinstalling it my, uh, onto my mechanical drive, and I got mixed results. When you don't have a lot of add-ons installed, it actually doesn't take that long to load. But the problem is, if you try to reinstall old scenery and stuff for prepared, it's going to start bogging things down. So I'm kind of feeling my way through the mechanical hard drive experience with that sim. And I still like the sim. I still like that I can use my Quality Wings 787 in there. But let me not kid you, it takes a very long time to load GSX. So I might actually uninstall GSX from prepared just to do, specific systems rich flights, which, if I'm being honest, I don't know that I like the idea about that. So it's like, do I even keep prepared installed in my plate drive at this point? It's installed right now. It's not affecting anything, so I'm not worried about it. But I mean, I even bought an NVMe drive earlier this year, and I moved X-Plane over to it just so I could free up more space on my main drive, which probably got consumed by other things as well. So it's not like I'm going to reinstall P3D on my main drive. But if I did, I would probably keep the P3D install very, very light and not install as much stuff as I wanted to. Like, I would even pick what airports I'd install. But it was an interesting exercise. I'll leave it at that. It was definitely an interesting exercise. Otherwise, I am continuing to try to do my best at work. IRL, I'm a software developer and trying to do good for my company. I'm also looking for a new job. I'm very fortunate to have one, so I'm maneuvering from a position of strength, but I'm looking for something which is different. You have V6 on an external drive. Yep. I remember you were using V6 on a stream a while ago. So yeah. And V6 of course has the personal consumer license if you want to do that. I don't know. I think I could try reinstalling P3D onto one of my NVMe drives. I might actually install it on the NVMe drive where X-Plane's installed and see how that behaves, how that performs. Because if my intent is to get back into it, then I'm probably going to do that. Because I'm not going to be doing too much more flying on a plate drive, I can tell you that right now. Also, having it on a plate drive, I'm somewhat concerned that the sheer number of operations that are going to happen whenever I fly the sim are going to impact that hard drive's life. But is what it is. I think I want to look for a replacement plate drive at some point in the not too distant future. It's an 8 terabyte drive, so 8 terabyte plate drives, even if they're more expensive, probably shouldn't be anywhere near as expensive as the same version in SSD or NVMe format. I'm pretty sure there's like an 8 terabyte NVMe drive, but I don't want to know how much it costs. I don't. But it was an interesting experiment. P3D on a plate drive is possible. It's just not ideal. So, in fact, let me just check something. I am going to check how much free space I have on the other NVMe drive. yeah, I figure a modest P3D install is still going to leave me some room for X-Plane 12 expansion. And I mean, if it becomes a problem, I can always remove P3D from the other NVMe drive. I really do need NVMe performance in that thing because I think that's part of the stability. NVMe means much faster read-write times, which means the sim's not slowing down as much, which means whatever add-ons are installed work nicely. Does that mean I'm going to do that tonight? No. But I think I know what direction I want to take that in. Whether or not I'm going to be doing P3D flights again on stream, most likely not. At least not for the foreseeable future. But I think I'm probably going to move it to the NVMe drive soon, TM. Meanwhile, I've been enjoying myself quite a bit with FS 2024, and I'm still enjoying myself with FS 2020. This is still a very, very capable sim, and I enjoy flying the 787. I also have the 737-600 in here too. I haven't bought the 2024 version of the PMDG 736. I might at some point because I do like flying that plane. It's really enjoyable. Do I think I want to do that soon? Maybe not. Like, I'm not in a massive hurry to get the 737 in 2024, especially since I've been, just casually using the 737 MAX 8 and enjoying it. XB12, DCS, and Star Citizen. I've seen a couple of people in like the people that I follow on Twitch that play Star Citizen. I think people were doing Elite Dangerous for a while, and I forget the other. I think it was like the Microsoft or other spacey type game that came out last year and the year before. But Star Citizen, I still hear about. I'm dabbling with the idea of getting back into combat sims, and I would do it through retro, because I have good old games, and I have the Falcon collection. I also debated spending about $5 to get the F-117 Stealth Fighter game from Microprose. I don't have the money for it right now because we're tight, but if I get discretionary spend, I'll probably pick it up because it's an interesting game. Like, exercising stealth and doing stealth tactics to, um, slip in, slip out undetected, things like that. It would be a case study for me in like dangerous bizjet operations, essentially. But the F-117 for me has long since been a military aircraft that's captured my attention, like the SR-71 and the B-2 stealth bomber, even the B-1B Lancer. But the F-117 for me is definitely still an interesting aircraft. Still. So there's that. I'm also toying with the idea of doing software development on the side, like game deving for fun. I've already been doing some work with a tech demo earlier this year that I think I should finish, and I am debating exactly how it's going to happen, but I don't know exactly what to do. I'm not sure. I think we're coming up on top of drop very soon. Let me get dialed in here. Oh yeah, 20 nautical miles. Let's get the seatbelt signs back on. And it's going to be a dusk arrival into Orlando. We're landing 1818 right. And the 787 should begin descending for me because I do have the final approach fixed altitude set, and we also have the approach ref performance set here too. We have the landing runway, and I believe my ILS glide slope is turned on for approach, so we shouldn't have an issue. Wow, look at that sun. Isn't that neat? Praise the Lord. Okay, so about 10 nautical miles before we begin descending into Orlando, and let me take a look at the weather. There was some weather that came through here earlier today when I was planning my flight. There's just a brief blip of a cell, like a little bit of rain, right at the armpit, so to speak, of Florida. Way above like Tampa, and almost due east of my current position. And speaking of about due east, we're going to be passing Jacksonville pretty soon. I'm way above it right now. It's probably under those clouds, so I don't expect to see it. But I might see this JetBlue flying by. No, a bit too far out. That's okay though. Somebody went past me too. I miss having the FSLTL traffic injection because it did a much better job of model matching. At least I think it did. I think there's a way of changing the config file, but I can't find it so far for the FS 2020 version. FS 2024 is unaffected because I think you can change that for FSLTL because there's that Navigraph option. I just haven't found it yet. And we are on our way down. I figure we'll be on the ground in about 35 minutes or so, I want to say. Once we do, we will taxi to the gate. I'll say my goodbyes and head on out. And that should do it for me for this weekend. I'm not going to be on tonight, but if my friends are on streaming, I might say, hey, this week I may try to get back into scenery development again, even if it's just like 5 or 10 or 15-minute spurts. I'm debating whether or not I want to stream it or just do it just to pick up the habit again. I do want to do scenery development. It's in my brain, it's not, boring or like tedious work. It is tedious, but what I'm trying to say is it's not something I don't want to do and I keep putting off because I don't want to do it. It's just something that I've been putting off because I've been busy with IRL work. And when you do software development, your creative brain gets, I want to say, not more short-circuited, more front-loaded. You spend your energy solving creative problems, especially with the technology that I deal with, and then you get to the end of the day and you don't have as much energy to create things. And it's nobody's fault. It's just a literal transaction that takes place. As a software developer, I spend more of my brain figuring out how to be creative, how to figure out answers to certain issues. So when you get to the point where it's just like, oh yeah, 9 o'clock, like, the computer's like this monolith, and you're like, I just want to play games, just want to chill out. So I've been there before. And if you or anyone listening to this does any kind of creative work, and your job makes you think a lot, or makes you wrestle with certain things which engage that part of your brain, and you get to the end of the day and you're like, man, I'm bummed. I don't want to do this thing that I like doing so much, but I don't have the energy to do it. Believe me, I understand you. I understand you. Wow. Look at that. Take a screenshot of this. That's a great shot. Yep. Gonna be coming into Orlando at dusk. Weather turned out to be wonderful. Really glad I hopped into the sim tonight. And I'm also really glad I put this on real time. And let me double check the weather again. Weather 2304 knots. Let me crib off of that spy just to get a METAR. Not that it matters. Oh, and there was, I guess, Atlanta Center. So METAR wins 220 at 4. Yeah, there's really not much of a difference. So let me configure my altimeter. Good. And we are saying bye-bye to that sunlight. Gonna be doing some night work here. Speed brakes are armed. Should be showing up as armed shortly. We're in the armed D10, so if the speed brakes do not deploy, I would be surprised. But let's also set auto brakes to see, that's max, that's 4. 3 should be fine. I don't know why the eCam memo is not showing me what I want to see. But oh wait, hold on. There we go. Checklist complete. Norm. Tail strike. Interesting. But at least now I can see the eCam memo. Can I see it now? No. That's weird. It doesn't want to show it on this side. I could have pressed a button that swapped FO and captain responsibilities. But we do have seatbelts on, speed brakes armed, auto brake 3. And let me check my checklist. And we'll do a recall check. Fine. Auto brake is set to 3. Landing data, we're going to be doing ref plus 5 is going to be 142. And approach briefing, we're taking the get out 1 arrival. We're going to be landing on 18 right. When we do, 18 right is going to be all the way over on the right, and if we go missed, We climb 500, then a climbing right turn to 4,000 to go to the Camber or Canby waypoint and hold there. So there we go. And the altimeters are set. So we're fine for approach. Last thing is speed brake arm, landing gear down, flaps 25. Flaps 25. Flaps 25 confirmed. Okay, so I must have hit a button that swapped responsibilities because that's the only reason I can think of that the ECAS doesn't show up on my side. Inbound, outbound. Yeah, I don't see anything that would have made that happen. A little strange. But that's fine. Oh, and if the tail strike thing is real, it's not the first time I tail struck. And I think it was for the exact same reason that I didn't set flaps on takeoff roll and had that panic pull at the end of a runway. So let's make sure we don't forget. And speaking of not forgetting, just because I'm lazy, I'm going to go ahead and turn my landing lights on, even at flight level 180. And I'm going to ding the flight attendants, get the APU. Can I turn on the APU at 18,000? Probably, for funsies. We've got fuel. I'll just leave it turned on, but I'm not going to actually activate it. I will activate it once we actually taxi off the active. But we should be fine. At least I think so. Ooh. 737-800 just below us. I don't know if they're going to Orlando. Look out. Okay, below standard pressure, back to normal. And what am I missing? Not entirely sure. Whatever the case, it's a beautiful evening in Orlando. Partly cloudy. And I have appreciated spending time with you folks streaming today's flight. Not gonna lie, I was like kind of fighting inertia to stream today, just like, do I want to do it? Do I want to do it? I'm glad I did. I'm glad I also picked FS 2020 and the 787, even if I did bork the takeoff, because streaming and flying in this sim, even a 6-year-old sim like Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 is a good thing. I like it. How much more room do I have in my flight before we get in? Not too bad. We're coming up on the fork in the road, so to speak. We're gonna make that right turn after Get Out and Tuggle. Then Banya is the last point on the arrival, and we are descending. When I get to Naval on the arrival, I'm presumably going to want to be around, I don't know, 5 to 8,000 feet. So being at like 13,000 right now doesn't inspire confidence. It doesn't. Also, I think I'm going to be coming in behind this 737. I think. Actually, what's the traffic situation right now? I think we do have some aircraft on the same flight plan, so I gotta be careful. And this is real time. Traffic. Looks like they are moving out the way. All right, so 80 nautical miles. Like 40. Got it. So Banya's coming up at about 15. What am I still doing at 11,000 feet? Hmm. That's fun. We are starting to slow down now, though. If I really wanted to, I could probably drop landing gear now and slow down considerably. I wonder what's being selected. I don't have a virtual first officer here. Strange. Okay. Um. Okay, we're now below the other aircraft, which at this point I'm pretty sure is coming in to Orlando. What I don't know is exactly what runway they'll be choosing. But we're also slowing down as well. And I do have my landing lights turned on. Give me some eyes. Do like me a good heads-up display. Let me also lower the intensity of these panels. That should help. Yeah, we'll see what runway this real-time traffic aircraft comes in on. Meanwhile, we are below 250 knots. We're below 10,000 feet. And I really wish I could see the approach here, but I see it. Auto brake 3, speed brakes armed. And I think we're going to be okay. We're coming in a little bit spicy on the approach, but we got time. I would kind of be surprised if it lines up on 18 right like I did, because the default flight plan said 17 left. But let's let's figure it out. Absolutely fantastic out there. I think I need wing lights. I can turn those off. Oh, they're not on. The landing lights are on, of course. Okay, give me flaps 1 and flaps 2. No, excuse me, flaps 5. Now it's time to start slowing down. Flaps 15. Red tape is indeed chasing me now. And let me look at the airport chart. I want to be off by Yankee, which is basically halfway down runway 18 right. We can default to exiting at Echo if we have to, and then come back up Charlie to airside 3. About 4 nautical miles to the transition to the ILS. All right, flight attendant seats for landing. $6,000 and descending. Approach mode is now active. And it does look like we have some traffic coming in. So let's do gear down, please. And give me flaps 20. And flaps 25. Slowing to final approach speed. And we have flaps 25, green light, gear down. Speed brake armed, auto brake 3, seatbelts on, cabin crew is ready. They should be at this point. And AI traffic is lining up for which runway? I don't know. Make your move, buddy. Make your move. Let's see. It's probably going to be 18 right. And that's fine. I mean, I'm going... They're not that far away from me, but I'm going about 142 knots. So, what does that mean? If I could theoretically slow down even more, then that would give them time to land and exit the runway. They're gonna land 18 left? They're not in my line of sight, so either the wind is pushing them off to the left, or they're actually going for that runway, which is cool. Let me see. Yeah, they're in front of me, but they're not on the same line as me. So it's like, that's weird. And now I can set this for 4,000. That's okay. It's AI traffic. I'm not on VATSIM. We're doing our best. Wow. Orlando is lit.
2,500.
Yep, 2,500 and fully configured. Thanks again to everybody that stopped in tonight, especially to my lurkers. Appreciate having you aboard. It really does help the channel. Okay, now, Frontier flight is actually getting further ahead of me now. Can't quite tell though. What are winds anyway? Winds are from the southwest at 5, so there's a little bit of crosswind here. Not that much. Them's my shoes, my friend. Thanks for the follow. Welcome aboard. Thanks for stopping in tonight. We are on final approach to 18 right at Orlando, and I do have real-time traffic that I'm seeing. They're actually not that far. They're not that close to me anymore, which is great. We are on the beam 18 right, and we're going to try to exit by Yankee, which, assuming I actually do the pilot stuff nicely, should work. 1,000 stable. Let's set Mr. Approach altitude to 4,000. Now Mr. Approach altitude is set. And get the nose light on. And now I think we're okay. I've entered my aircraft. And the golden rule with the 787, you do not disable auto throttle until you've landed. At least that's how I fly.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Continue. Close enough.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Okay, we are stable. And down. Reverse green. Wonderful. Auto brake disarm. Welcome down to Orlando, everybody. I think we made Yankee. Local time is 8:30. All right, let me hold short and clean up while the AI traffic in front of me decides what to do. Actually, it's perfect timing. Wonderful. Brakes would be a very good idea. DIGI. Okay, parking brake is set. Let's get cleaned up. Let's get the APU turned on, and I can take my bigger landing lights off, keep the main nose light on, turn my wing lights on just for visibility, and we'll see whether or not the AI traffic despawns, since I'm pretty sure it's what I'm waiting on. Thank you, my friend. I was afraid that I was going to slam the nose, so I just kind of like started instinctively, just ever so gently trying to keep the flare going. It's the first time I actually set the nose down nicely in this aircraft. I've now parked the spoilers. I do think it's possible the AI traffic is not going anywhere, and it won't. So, what can I do? Oh wait, is it holding short because of incoming traffic? There should be nobody coming in. Oh no, wait, this is AI traffic, and 18 left is in use, so I'm guessing this aircraft actually waiting. Which is neat. Looks like Azul 8730 just came in from South America. Nice. It's a 767. Dude. Is it still there that despawn? I don't know. Yeah, because it went somewhere. Oh no. We've got traffic coming in. That's why. Wasn't I just looking at that plane? Huh. That's strange. Let me give it like 5 more minutes. If the AI traffic doesn't move, I'm either going to just go through this parked plane, or I'm just going to turn off AI traffic and taxi to the gate. I would prefer not to. But it is nice to see a bunch of traffic coming in. There's even a Southwest just landed on the same runway. So let me see if this plane despawns. Yeah, so is the transponder might actually be, the data might actually be a bit faulty. So that's fine. Let me go ahead and turn off traffic. traffic. And finish the taxi. That's fine. I'll hold short briefly just in case somebody's coming into 18 left. I don't think they are though, but again, just to be safe. And thanks to everybody that's still sticking around. No, I don't think they're coming into 18 left. All right. Let's continue. I'm not sure when my frame rate just tanked a bit, but whatever. Taxi light on, nose light off, strobe light off, same thing for the wing lights, And the APU is on. It should be. Let's take ourselves over to airside 3 and park up. Definitely a nice flight tonight. This is the default bespoke MCO scenery that came with FS 2020. I think this was a standard edition bonus airport. Let's go straight ahead. And I can turn my taxi light off at this point. Clean up my approach here. And I think I'm good. Let me double check outside. A little bit further. Just a bit, not much. And stop. Wonderful. Let's double check. That's fine. Alright, we're good. We'll take external power. We'll turn off the APU. And we'll get some interior lighting. Excuse me, dome lighting. Okay, stop the clock. And don't know how much time we flew. Probably about an hour, 20 minutes. But welcome down. Beacon light can come off. Fuel pumps can come off. Let's go ahead and request deboarding and
The boarding requested.
take American Airlines deboarding assistance. And get some dome lighting going here. Lieutenants disarm slides. Cross-check. Stand by for all call. Nav lights off. Outside lights off. We have external power on. Let's see. Seatbelt signs are off.
Passengers deboarding starting.
And that's about it. We can turn the packs off now. And we're good. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate having you all aboard for our flight to Orlando today. Probably about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe an hour and a half on the flight time. Probably about an hour and 15 minutes on the clock. I definitely know I had a good time flying tonight. Thanks again to my friends for stopping by, like Iowa Scotsman, Crafton for Them's My Shoes, Lyles. Thanks to everybody that's been lurking in the back. Thank you to the folks responsible for the Kuro 787-800 and to Asobo for, of course, FS 2020 and bundling a bespoke edition of Orlando with the sim. Grateful, of course, for the Boeing 787 that furbished this flight. And I think, again, I don't exactly know how I'm going to handle streaming this week for Scenery Dev. Depending on what's going on, I might be back next weekend for another flight or for something else. I've been debating doing a trucking stream, but I'm not really feeling it right now. But flying, clearly, is something that I enjoy doing still. And let me go ahead and turn on ATC traffic again, because I like seeing it. Oddly enough, I think I got my frames back just now. But that's fine. I did turn it on, right? Yeah, yeah. Live real world traffic and multiplayer. Okay, so good. All right. Now, where are we? Let's go ahead and check and see who else is on right now that we could probably say hello to real fast. Probably a nice raid and run, so to speak. And I'm checking. We have Spy Flight, who's flying from Toronto to Dulles. We've got Continuous Ignition that is doing a 707 flight into Kai Tak. And actually, that probably is interesting. Let me just check up on him real fast. Let's see. Yeah, I think they're just getting started, which is great because I usually catch people after they land. So I'm glad that didn't happen this time. So let me go ahead and set up the raid. And I will catch you guys hopefully either next weekend or sometime sooner than that. Continuous underscore ignition. Let me go. Raid continuous underscore ignition. Again, everybody, a privilege having you aboard for tonight's flight. Had a nice time. It was a nice, chill flight. I got quite a bit out of it. So, definitely pleased that we got that landed. As always, folks, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus Christ. Stick around for the raid. We're going to go say hi to Continuous Ignition, flying a 707. A privilege having you aboard. There's my shoes. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. Stick around for the raid. Let's go ahead and say hi to Continuous Ignition right now. Here we go.